On to other world news, and Somalia's government says it's cancelled all agreements with the United Arab Emirates. Tensions have been increasing since Israel recognized the breakaway region of Somaliland. Somali media report that the UAE played a role in that recognition. The government in Mogadishu says the decision to cancel agreements is to protect national security and uphold constitutional order. The UAE operates a port and military base in Berbera in Somaliland, as well as ports in Bosaso and Kismayo. Tensions have also been fueled by allegations that a Yemeni separatist leader escaped to the UAE via Somaliland. Let's take a closer look at how we got here. For many years, the UAE and Somalia had close security and defense cooperation. Abu Dhabi has trained hundreds of Somali troops since 2014 as part of those agreements. The UAE also paid salaries of security forces in some regions of Somalia. The UAE has also provided humanitarian assistance to Somalia as the country recovers from civil war. But Abu Dhabi also has close relations with the breakaway region of Somaliland, which Mogadishu opposes. Here you can see the breakaway region of Somaliland, as well as the semi-autonomous states of Puntland and Jubaland. The United Arab Emirates operates a port and military base in Berbera in Somaliland, as we've said, a second UAE-run port in Bosaso in Puntland, while a third one is in Kismayo in Jubaland. Joining us now on Al Jazeera is Daud Aweis, who's Somalia's Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, live from Mogadishu with us. Thank you so much, Minister, for your time today. The UAE has played, as we've seen there, a central role in supporting Somalia's government. So annulling all agreements with Abu Dhabi is an extraordinary step. Can you tell us what's led to this decision?
Thank you very much. If I can start with appreciating the UAE, the support they have been providing to Somalia. But what we have found out later is that the support that UAE was providing to Somalia is also, is on the other hand, they are also involved in some activities that are risking the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Somalia. And rather than accepting such support, we opted to have our sovereignty intact, and we made the decision today following a cabinet meeting that was held in Mogadishu.
What activities specifically, what specific actions by the UAE crossed the threshold from diplomatic disagreement to total cancellation of these deals?
The actions we have found out is that the UAE was involved in trying to violate and undermine the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Somalia, and we have evidences of different accounts, and that's why the Somali government decided to have that decision today in order to save the sovereignty of Somalia instead of accepting support that is risking our sovereignty. And it's a decision that is in effect, that is starting today after it has been reached by the cabinet.
Minister, I'm sorry to have to ask again, but what specific actions? Because it's a pretty damning accusation to make that the UAE was violating Somalia's sovereignty. What specific actions did the UAE take that violated Somalia's sovereignty?
At this moment, we don't want to give more details on that, but the Minister of Foreign Affairs will give some details while communicating with UAE directly in order to convey this message. But what we found out through our networks is that there were a lot of activities that UAE was involved in trying to undermine the sovereignty of Somalia, and that was unacceptable to the Somali government and to the people of Somalia.
Was this decision, Minister, to cancel these agreements, was it taken independently by Somalia or after consultations or perhaps pressure from an outside power?
This was definitely done by the Somali cabinet members. They voted, and there was a debate on that. And after the debate, it has been agreed that a vote has to take place, and all the ministers have accepted this to annul all agreements with the UAE in order to save the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Somalia.
I ask if there was some sort of consultation of pressure from an outside power, because some say this decision was influenced by reports that the UAE assisted in the covert escape of Yemen separatist leader al-Zubaydi by secretly flying him from Somaliland to Abu Dhabi on board a military aircraft. Can you comment on that? Can you clarify what the Somali government understood about that flight at the time?
There was no any pressure from outside that compelled us to make this decision. Regarding the case that you have mentioned, we have started investigation after these reports came out about Yemeni separatists who have been flown out from Yemen to Somalia and then taken out from Somalia. We are making some investigation on that after getting all those reports.
Did it have anything to do? I'm sorry to keep pushing on this. I know you are perhaps a bit reluctant to tell us about what specific action, but did it have anything to do perhaps with Israel's recognition of Somaliland, which some say the Emiratis have played a central role in leading to?
What we believe is that the UAE was involved in activities undermining the Somali sovereignty, and that's why we made this decision. We don't want to give more details. There will be some other information that the Minister of Foreign Affairs will give out later.
Okay, we'll wait for that information. But in the meantime, they've annulled agreements on ports involving Berbera, Bosaso, Kismayo, some which were signed by federal member states. How is the central government going to enforce this?
Somalia has got a central government, and any such a decision or any such an agreement has to be signed by the federal government of Somalia or with the consent of the federal government of Somalia. So all these have been annulled, and they don't have any consent from the federal government of Somalia. The government of Somalia has the legality to make such decisions, and we are in control of all these ports. So anything to do with those ports without the government consent will be illegal.
Minister, ports like Berbera and Bosaso are critical economic lifelines. How will Somalia compensate for lost investment, infrastructure and revenue by annulling these agreements with the UAE?
That will not affect the Somali economy because many other channels will be open and these ports will be operating by using other means, but not with the agreements with the UAE.
Are you going to be making agreements with other countries?
Definitely, Somalia has got agreements with other countries. We have trade deals with different countries, so those will continue.
Okay. What would it take for Somalia to restore relations, Minister, with the UAE? What would it take to resume these agreements? Is it an apology, guarantees? Is it compensation?
In our statement issued by the cabinet, it was clear that Somalia is ready to have mutual agreements with different countries, but it has to respect the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Somalia. That's what Somalia needs to make sure that if it's having any international agreement or deal, it has to respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Somalia. That is the condition that Somalia is always putting forward.
Okay, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us about this. Daud Aweis, Somalia's Minister of Information, Cultural Affairs and Tourism, joining us there from Mogadishu. We appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Don't miss out. Get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news, expert insight. Like, share, stay ahead.